everyone, Brian here from Astro 2000, bringing you a new video today on how to build the Raininator. So in my first video, I showed you guys how the Raininator, this nifty little guy here, and what it does, and how how I put it together, so maybe you could build your own. And I had a few requests. Well, maybe it was like one, and it was from my friends always. That should put together a video showing you how to put this together. What it does is, this is a device that I created that I put outside with my telescopes when I'm shooting astrophotography at night, and it can alarm me or let me know if it's raining. So these little sensors up here are connected to an alarm inside this box that works through the Wi-Fi, my home Wi-Fi, and if water touches these sensors or snow touches them, it will send an alarm to my cell phone. Here's all the items that I purchased from the links in the first video. Here we have the rain sensor hiding behind the box here. Just the Wi-Fi leak detector sensor I have here. This is box option number 2. In the first video, I gave you guys links below, 2 options for the box. This is the second one. The first one's been out of stock, and Amazon have been checking in periodically. I also stopped at Lowe's and Home Depot and checked what boxes they had in stock, and they were just too big and bulky. And so anyway, this is box option number 2. I'll leave the link below in the description for this one. It's again option number 2 in the first video, but it works very well. It's hinged. It's not screwed on like this one. So you just unclip it and it just folds right open. So it makes getting in and out of the box much easier. And these are a nice option because this is just an electrical junction box, and it's a nice option because it's waterproof like this. So makes prevents it from getting any false alarms on the sensor, because these I found to be very sensitive to any moisture. Well, that's their job, right? Okay, so next item I have here is just some electrical wire. This is actually automotive electrical wire. Pretty much any wire will work, and when we get to that point, you guys will see why. And then here's the dew heater, just a generic dew heater strap that I purchased from Amazon as well. And some zip ties, push-on connectors. This is the shrink wrap tubing. Comes like this. You just have to heat it up a little bit to get it to shrink down to this, to this size here. That's what that's for. And then we have the 6 individual rain sensors right here in the packages. Over here I feel are all the tools that I use to put this together. And you don't necessarily have to use all these exact tools here, but these are the ones I use. They're just very basic tools. It's just a drill, or if you guys have a drill press, I have one here I picked up pretty cheap from, I believe it was Harbor Freight. It was maybe $70, and it saved me a lot of money because in dovetails I don't have to purchase new ones all the time. I could drill holes wherever need be. So that's pretty good option if you're are into or feel that you're mechanically inclined, that you could drill holes into dovetails to resize them for different telescopes, different things like that. I use it for many things. Or you could just use a regular drill like this. You will need a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch drill bit, roughly. I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, and I'll show you when I'm drilling the holes when we get there why. This is just the generic, or a little cordless hot glue gun. Works awesome. Tape, can be any kind of tape. I just had painter's tape. Flush nose cutters. Again, you don't need these. I just like to use these for cutting the zip ties because it cuts them nice and flush. Needle nose pliers, set of wire strippers, flathead, Phillips head, and a Sharpie. And yes, a piece of paper, which I have down here. And again, when we get to that point, I'll show you what the purpose is of the piece of paper. Okay, so I'm just going to put all of these items here to the side. Okay, so first step is let's take all these rain sensors and unpackage all of them. these. We don't really need any of this. Oh, sorry, camera. All garbage. Alright, so 2. So we got 6 of these. I mean, you don't have to use 6. If you get 4, it's probably fine. Or if you can find different size sensors, maybe bigger ones, and you don't have to have 6 individual ones. You get a couple bigger ones. Alright, so now what I did was for these little pieces, you don't have to necessarily do this. It just makes it a little easier when they're inside the box. I just took the nose pliers, straighten each one of these guys out. Make sure you're really careful when you do this, that you don't break these little connectors down here. So these guys we just set over to the side for now. We will be using those shortly. So what we want to do is fit these to the top of the box. The problem is that you just want to make sure that when you put these holes through the top, that you're not going into the sides of the box and that you're staying within this area in here. So, a little trick that I found, and I'm sure there are some other ways that you have that might work better, but for the purposes of the video, this is the one that worked well for me, so share it with you guys. So I just put the 6 pieces down, 2 pieces of tape like this, just to hold them in place. Okay. Now we get to use this nifty piece of paper that I showed you guys in the beginning. And we're going to use this to create a template on top of this, that it makes it easier to put a template for drilling the holes on top of this box here. So let's just push these through. For the box. And then we just want to see on here. Here's what we're doing now. We're going to be laying out the template to drill these holes. Okay, so once these are punched through, and then take this Phillips head that I have here and then poke the holes for the pieces in the corners of the sensor. Now we can put this on top of here, and that's our template. So let me remove these. Keep them taped on here, make them a little easier moving them around, whatever. Just gonna put these off to the side for now. Okay. Okay guys, so now close this. We have this template, and I can now, I don't have to worry about fussing with one sensor this way and trying to line them all up, and I try to do it the other way. It's just a lot easier this way. So now what you want to do is take this template, lay it over the top, make sure you're far enough in on all the corners when you put this on, or you could even drill it from the inside. That way you know you're playing it safe, not cutting into the corners anywhere. That makes sense. You can do it this way too. I'm going to do it on the top. Either way. Like this. Alright, so I'm going to get a few more pieces of tape here, just to hold this thing in place. So here we got pretty safe putting it on this side. So let me just tape this down here. Another piece of tape. And then same thing here, pretty close to the edge there. So let me just shift it over this way so I'm nice and centered. Pull this off. Did a pretty bad job taking that on. Alright, that should be good enough for now because all I have to do is mark it with this. So I'm just going to use this, make these holes a little more prominent. Now you take the Sharpie and dot the holes. Have our template. Get rid of this garbage pile. Let this dry a little bit, and now we have our template where we want to drill our holes. And you'll use the smaller drill bit for the outside, these little holes here, and then where the bigger piece comes through here for the sensor, right here, we'll use this bigger drill bit. And the sizes don't have to be exact. You don't need a 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch. It's just gotta be big enough that this piece here, this black piece in the bottom, will fit through. And these holes just have to be big enough that the zip ties here will fit through. Just to see how these line up, I'm going to put them in their spots. Okay guys, now the next step is we're going to want to take and start attaching these individual sensors. And how I did it on here, let's open this up, is you want to loop it through the bottom. Go through the sensor, come back through the hole. So here's what we got. It's starting to look a lot like a Raininator, huh? Pretty sweet, if you're still with me at this point. Okay, so now the next step is I'm gonna clean up all these zip tie pieces, that's for sure. Get these off. Here's our Raininator. So you can see where we're at here. Okay, now our next step is we're going to want to build these 2 harnesses here, one for each side, or one for each connection on the bottom of the sensor here. So let's dive into that and put this back, and we're going to take these 6 little wire harnesses that came with the sensors, and we're going to have to modify them to look like this. So it's pretty simple. So here's what we do. I'm just going to cut all the ends off these. Ends off only one side. And what we need to do, strip the ends on all these wires. These are pretty small, so let's see how this does. You want to strip these so they're pretty good length. Maybe, let me say, you probably want to go maybe 1 inch. Oops. Maybe 1 inch longer. It's like a 1/2 inch. Go a little longer here. Something like that. Okay, you want to cut all these like that. Let's take these harnesses. You don't need this raw tape. And push them on to the little sensor wires that are sticking out here. the wires here. If you want to make it easy, what you could do is just take all the rights, just like we did here. Uh-oh. See that I just took all the rights and connected them to the same side, and then same thing on the other side. So you'll see here. So these are all the rights. Right. Right. Right side. So we got the rights, and the rights. And then what we want to do, twist them all together. And then we want to take all the wires that are on the left. Uh-oh, this one's coming off a little bit. Actually push them down all the way. Okay, so we got a left, 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 and left. Okay, so now see how we're getting our two wire harnesses the same connection. Now, if these two touch, that will complete the circuit. Okay, so now we're at this point. We're going to want to take this wire that I have here, cut a couple pieces off. It doesn't really matter how long you make it. It doesn't need to be that long. This should be plenty. A few inches. And then we're going to want to strip these down. Good amount on the side that we're going to tie together with these. Oops, so I can go down a little bit. And the other side is going to get a push-on connector. You don't really need to make it that long, or the connector won't fit properly. Like that, I even probably got to trim some off of. That's probably long enough. Same thing on this wire. Make one side really long, and the other side short. Okay. At this point, we want to also get the pretty good sized piece of this. Cut this in half. Probably doesn't even need to be that long. Probably trim this down a little bit. All right, then you can solder these, butt connect them. I'm just going to twist them together because it's going to work fine. Just fold this back. All right, grab my lighter. Heat this up, shrink these down. And you know those are done and sealed when they start to leak out like that. Ah, the one tool I forgot to mention, the lighter. Any lighter works. This is just the torch lighter. It works a little bit better for these. Okay, so we're just going to let these cool down. And I had this set up like this on the old Raininator. Butt connector might work better, or soldering it, but again, these hold it very well, and it's not like you're off-roading with this that's going to get shaken around like that. Okay, so we're getting there. At this point, we want to take the end connectors. We're going to need 2 of them. And we do have to open these up just a tad, but yeah, you know what? I'll put them on here and we'll get to that in a minute. So let me put these on. All loose. Let me just tighten it down a little bit. This next gauge up. Try again. Okay. Okay. And there we have it. Building the Raininator, the hard part, is pretty much all set. All we need is connectors for. I'm just going to put these to the side. Move this over. And at this point, I had to take the sensor. If you bought this style, these 2 screws come off on the side. That's how you change the battery. But I also took my drill bit. I'm gonna need a little bit bigger one, and I drilled this out big enough that these sensors, these push-on connectors could fit through. So I'll put this back on. Okay, little screw 1. Little screw 2. So now this is drilled out big enough. Some sensors, that depending on which one you get, you might not need to do this. Now we could fit these connectors on. And then this is what you need the flathead for. I just had to open up these connectors here. And I just simply don't go too crazy because you don't want to break the connector. I just had to open these up enough. That they will fit onto these push over these connectors here. There we go. That one's on. That one's on. And they should be touching on there. That this thing should work. And there we go. It's instant. Okay. Then I took a little, you could take a little piece of velcro, stick it on here and put it on the bottom so it doesn't shake around. Then the last step is I took the hot glue gun and I went back and I filled in all these holes with hot glue. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to look pretty. You just make sure you get a good amount on there so that when you close the lid on this, it's now watertight inside the box. Okay, so I'm going to close this back up. The last step would be to take your dew heater, dew strap, which fits around the outside. Oops. Like that. You connect that to your USB for power. Okay, so that pretty much sums it up. What I want to do now is jump into the app and show you guys how to connect this thing to the app. So let me open this up. And go grab my phone so I can get into the app and show you guys what's like in there. Okay, everyone, we're back. I have my phone here. So what we want to do is I have two apps, this Go Sun or Smart Life. Either one of those work very well. So I'm going to go into the Smart Life app here, and you can see I already have one sensor connected from my from the Raininator that I already have built that I use for myself. So what we want to do is open this up, take this little nifty tool they give you when you buy the sensor here, and we want to push it until it starts flashing. Like so. Great. We click done. Flood sensor 2. All right. So this should be working now. Let's give it a test. Oh, I have my. Let's try it again. I had the I had my notifications off. There we go. Try it again, just so you guys believe me. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this really long, boring video of building your own sick Raininator. And I really hope you guys do build your own and it works out. Again, it's very basic and it's worked very well for me for well over a year now. So thanks for watching and I really appreciate it. Thanks. Brian here from Astro.